So in a new interview, Angela Oakley from The Real Housewives of Atlanta is confirming that Phaedra was behind the man that came up to her and said that Charles is cheating on you. Not only that, she speaks with Carlos King about her dream cast and more about her first season on The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Philadelphia, don't forget the Kempire After Dark, the villain era, is coming to your city on July 10th. But this week only, there is a summer flash sale, $25 only. Go get your tickets today. And after that, the Kempire After Dark live show is coming to Atlanta on August 5th, then DC on August 22nd, and then back here in New York City on September 12th. The New York City show has a live stream option, and even what I say in Philadelphia, Atlanta, or DC won't be what I say come September. So even if you're attending those shows, get a live stream ticket as well. More information on all the dates will be available in the description. Yesterday, we recapped The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and we had a lot of thoughts about what played out. I saw that Kelly Farrell did an interview with Entertainment Tonight denying what Britt had to say about having abortions.
Honestly, this was the one episode that I did not look forward to. It was the one episode where I wish that if I could not take it back, but I'm just disappointed with what truly transpired and you know, very hurt by the things that were said.
You can't bring up abortion stuff. Well, she tried to call me a pill popper. Hey, if you're gonna dish it, be sure to take it.
That whore-ass bitch. She's a hoe.
Is there backstory there? Did she pull this out of nowhere?
Let me just always say this. It's my body and my choice. Nothing had transpired with Britt and I where, you know, I had talked to her about abortions. I had her pick me up from an abortion, you know, like it wasn't anything that happened between her and I where that was discussed ever out of any moment or time in our friendship. And it's hurtful that she would just blatantly come on national television and tell a lie, you know? I am a mother of 4 beautiful daughters. She's not a mother, you know, unfortunately. Yeah. And I have to now have that conversation with all of my daughters because it's something that was talked about on the show. And it's hurtful that someone that I once called a friend to me would take a lie and say that, you know, and almost would have people to believe them because we're friends, you know?
Let's be honest, Britt and Kelly were never really deep friends. They became friends because they were put together on the show and they both were newbies. They were never really friends. I will say that Kelly did show up for Britt after the whole Kenya situation. And I was like, pay attention to this because the fact that Kelly's showing up for this woman that's really just a new friend is something to give her credit for. And I hate the fact that it even has gotten to this place where we're calling someone a pill popper or talking about something that may have been shared personally with someone else, even though Kelly is denying it.
So I'm curious to see, you know, and we never even got down to the bottom of it, why that statement was said.
Your hands are not clean in this situation either. You made...
No.
Tell it, Bryce.
You better talk to your motherfucking roommate. You better talk to your pill popper roommate.
Match point.
Why did that come out of your mouth?
The statement that I made, unlike hers, was very truthful. And I can back mine up and clearly she can't. So I think, you know, to be concerned about, you know, whatever, it's the truth. Tell me when you didn't put pills on the table.
Here's the thing. I hate the fact that this is what this show, what reality TV has come to. And this is because we have not checked these situations. So it just gets worse and worse. And I'm not saying that things haven't been terrible for years on reality television, but I think a lot of us have grown up and the people that we're watching have not. And they're feeling like they have to overperform because of the pressure of being a reality TV star and the pressure that they allegedly feel from production and the network to show up. I'm not equating the pill popping comment towards the abortion comment. Both were gross. Both did not need to be said. And this is one thing that I learned a long time ago from my 8th grade teacher when it came to using profanity. She says unintelligent people use profanity. And the way she explained that was the fact that if you are not articulate enough to come up with other words to come at somebody. So when it comes to reality television, I sort of equate that situation. You guys are not witty enough to come up with something shady and funny that would land instead of going to the gutter when it comes to your shade or disdain for someone else. So I hate the fact that we're even in this space where we're debating what is worse. Both were gross. Both were gross. Because we could also be talking about Britt could have an addiction. Now we sort of put it out there like that. I don't know. Again, those are just allegations that she's still perpetuating in new interviews. Britt did respond on social media in regards to this, basically saying that she could reveal more in regards to it. Britt, you should not say anything because you didn't show up to the reunion. You really could have probably secured your spot for another season. And we were just talking about this yesterday. You could have really just leaned into being the villain or being that girl. I thought that you would. Based off of what we would see from you on social media before we saw the season, I thought you were going to be that, not necessarily a villain, but be sort of like, if I'm going to be a villain today, I'm going to lean into it. And it felt like you did some stuff and then you just hid. And now you're suing. I'll put suing because it's not really a lawsuit yet. It's like a threat to sue. I don't get it. And I'm not one of those people that feel like, oh, just because of what happened between Britt and Kelly, there's Britt and Kelly or Britt and Kenya, that I can't see Britt's side of things. But now I can't see your side of things because you've scurried away and now we won't hear your side of things on the reunion. But whatever. Let's talk about what we saw in this week's episode. Sidebar. Can we do a little bit of a sidebar? I'm always good for a sidebar. I did post this morning about Brandy and Monica, the Boy Is Mine tour is officially happening. They officially announced today. Tickets go on sale this Friday. You're welcome. Okay? You're welcome. I love that they had a whole trailer. They did an interview with CBS Morning with Gayle King, and they look fantastic. The promo is promoing. It's coming to a city near you this fall. So get your tickets. I will be going to the New York City show, without a doubt. Without a doubt. That will be my Cowboy Carter tour. Okay. Let's get into Angela Oakley. So Angela Oakley sat down for an interview with Carlos King to talk about her experience this season, meeting Nene Leakes and what that was like. But more importantly, confirming, a lot of us were speculating, was it Portia? Was it Phaedra? That enlisted Marcus, who definitely wanted to have a moment. And here's the thing, I knew he wanted to have a moment because when we saw the mid-season trailer, we talked about it, and then he was in our mentions on Twitter trying to have a moment. Marcus, you should have never come on reality television again. Apparently he was on another TLC reality show. Google schmoogle it. And Marcus, your crimes allegedly, I don't have to say allegedly, sir. You're on a list. I verified myself. I looked and looked up your name. You are on a list that I'm not going to mention here, but one of the lists that you have to, where you can't go near schools.
Loser!
You should have never tried to have this moment. And no matter who paid you, hired you, you're a grown adult. And you decided to make this decision to do this reindeer game on Real Housewives of Atlanta that lots of people watch. And now people are digging into your past. Was it worth it? Maybe it was. People like their names being mentioned in good or bad. Not me. Let's just first talk about this first part. Shout out to Carlos King in his interview with Angela. We're going to play a couple of clips. As always, I'll cite the full video in the description.
You saw Nene at the BET Awards. What did she say to you about you being on the show?
You know what? She just said, you know what? You look amazing. Mm-hmm. And we just had a little 1-2. She introduced me to her partner. And we just did a little vibe. We had a little vibe. It was a nice little...
Her partner, Naomi... I never know where Nene is with that relationship. It's been on again, off again, on again, off again.
A nice little meeting. I know Nene. You know, I've seen her before, and I was a part of her organization.
Ladies of Success.
So shout out to Nene.
Yeah.
And to get the high five from her, that means something. That means something. It does. That's like, girl, it's enough room for everybody. So I appreciated that from Nene.
And before y'all start, oh, does this mean Nene could come back next season and they can come in through Angela? Anything's possible.
I did.
Have you met Kim Zolciak before?
Never, but I heard I would love her. She's a Taurus like I am. Oh.
She ain't any Taurus that I've known, but yeah, I don't know if you would love her, Angela.
Yeah.
So I heard I would love her.
She will love you.
Really? I've heard that. I've heard that a few times.
I think she would love Angela, but...
No. And you know what? I think I would love Sheree.
I see you and Sheree getting along.
I do too.
So she's confirming here the Charles Oakley and Sheree relationship that happened like 20 years ago.
Oh.
And I mean, don't you think? I think so.
I do too. And I only say that, we shared, my husband is her, they used to date. So I feel like Sheree.
What I love about Angela Oakley, and this must be a Taurus thing, she gets ahead of it, and she talks about that in this interview as well. She's not scurrying away from her truth, which is, I think, why people love her.
She wasn't one of the women who was looking for Charles after they broke up. Some women still, hang around even after you got married. Sheree just wasn't one of those women. So I don't feel like Sheree would be, a threat or anything like that. I feel like she would be a good... And she's a Capricorn. My siblings are Capricorns. Like, I feel like Sheree would be a good time.
Earth signs.
And I've heard that a lot from a lot of different people.
Oh, Sheree is the best time.
I heard that.
No, Sheree is amazing. Did you find out being on the show that Charles and Sheree dated, or did he tell you prior to you joining the show?
No. So we didn't go through our list of exes, right?
Okay.
Like, we didn't.
Do you guys do that? Do you go through your list of exes with people? Like, I don't think it's even worth it.
It never came up that way. I found out just based on conversation from people back in 2017 when I initially cast it, because I believe Sheree was a part of that cast.
She confirms that she had been in talks. There are a lot of people in Atlanta that have had conversations with production over the years. I've met quite a few of them. They've ended up on other reality shows. Oh yeah, there was a particular point when I did have conversations on being on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Doesn't mean that they were being heavily considered, but Angela, I can understand being heavily considered.
She was a part of that cast. Yes. And so that's how I found out that they used to date. And so I didn't know the nature of their relationship. I didn't know how serious it was. And I've come to find out, how serious it was or lack thereof. So they dated, 20 years ago.
And y'all don't run into each other at events or anything in Atlanta?
No. You won't find me out too much in Atlanta. I'm like Atlanta's hidden secret. I like to stay in the house.
She's a Taurus.
I'm on a plane. I'm somewhere else. I don't like to sit around Atlanta that much. That's why a lot of people didn't know.
And that's when I come to Atlanta August 5th, I'll be in and out. That's what he said. Shut up.
Who I was. I was Atlanta's best kept secret.
Atlanta's best kept secret. I love that she said that. Because you know what it is? Angela's not over the top. She's not the villain. She's not, she will do the work. She was definitely doing the work of production earlier on in the season. But I'm not surprised that people have fallen in love with her because she definitely, this is when I talk about astrological sign. She definitely gives that sleepy, but when necessary to turn up energy. And I mean sleepy in the best way possible. Like Candy. Like Candy's not this over-the-top personality, but she gave the balance that you needed for a show like Real Housewives of Atlanta. So listen to this part, though, in regards to who was behind the rumors. Well, or the spreading of the rumors or the antics that happened at Kelly's event. We should not be shocked, but Bravo, you got a problem.
Came back to the show. What were your thoughts as you were filming with her?
You know what? It's so crazy. And I was just like, I don't know. I feel like she was going to come for me. I just felt like I just didn't feel the energy would be authentic. And that's just, and I have a little bit of discernment. I have a great sense of discernment. I just kind of felt like that would be the case. And I mentioned it to someone who will remain nameless unless she wants to come forward. And she was like...
Is this a former housewife of Atlanta?
A former housewife of Atlanta.
And she was like, she wouldn't do that. She's not going to come for you. I was just like, it just makes sense. I felt like she would. And I wasn't wrong. She did.
And we see it. And we should not be surprised. And it's so funny. Again, if you go back to this week's episode, you saw how, or maybe it was the after show where Angela said that Phaedra was telling me, "Don't worry about girl. Don't give him no energy." But as soon as she left that event, she was calling Portia. I wouldn't be surprised Portia was behind it as well.
But I mean, she did. Even watching it now, I see the jabs she's making. I see the inroads she's making to my husband and the things she said about him. So I wasn't wrong. My discernment wasn't wrong. And a lot of fans are like, Phaedra don't have, I mentioned it on another interview. They were like, Phaedra doesn't have to come for you. Who do you think you are?
Exactly. Phaedra doesn't have to come for you, but she was coming for Angela multiple times. We were like, why is she coming for Angela like this? It's weird.
No one knows you. I was just like, yeah, it's something there.
Why do you think Phaedra is coming for you? You're watching the show. She's making tons of comments about your looks. Why do you think Phaedra is coming for you so soon?
Because who else? Who else?
And Phaedra's coming for Drew.
This is a show. Like, who else? And it wouldn't be Portia. Her and Shamia had her back and forth. Kelly and Britt, no one would, nobody would have cared, And so here I am, and so why not? Why not?
Do you believe what we're seeing happening now with these episodes airing? We just saw this recent episode that, there's this rumor that Charles is still cheating on you. And that comes out, and you and Phaedra have a back and forth about it. Do you believe Phaedra started this rumor that Charles is still cheating on you?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
And you know this because?
Because of the person she used to start the rumor told me.
Marcus.
Do you believe this person telling you the truth?
Yes, he had a lot to lose if he didn't.
He had a lot to lose, and he decided. I'm not giving him any support or empathy when it comes to this, because you're a grown adult and you have your own rap sheet to be exposed. You made this decision, but I guess anything for a coin.
And it's just who he is and things that he done in his past. He didn't want to come to light. So I found out about it, and I was just like, you're going to tell me, what happened and who sent you. And he beat around the bush, and he just said, I'm going to tell you, and he did tell us. And then there was just this connection to Athens, Georgia. I'm like, I've never met anybody from Athens, Georgia, ever. And I've been in Georgia 20 years. Never, And to be in a room with 4 people from Athens at the same time, I was just like, okay. But yeah, he did tell me, and I do 100% believe him. I do, because everything made sense. Like, your sister went to high school with her brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you come in this room and you don't know any.
So she was connecting all the dots. We already know Phaedra's from Athens, Georgia. Apparently Marcus and his family are too.
Anybody here, but ironically, your sister went to high school with Phaedra's brother. I'm like, okay. So it was like, Angela, I told you the truth. And he did.
How did you feel about that once that was all discovered?
I was disappointed because I was told, get to know Phaedra. She's coming back. Get to know her. And I kind of looked to her for information. Like, tell me how this works. I'm new to reality TV. Tell me the inroads. Tell me the inside out. And, she was the source of the information. So for that to happen, I was just like, yeah, it was a breach of trust. And, I didn't appreciate that at all. And it's like, what? The truth is so much better than fiction. Like, why do you have to lie on my husband?
That's because Phaedra doesn't understand that when it comes to reality television. She's been lying since she's been on the show, dating all the way back to her due date. Phaedra, and this is why a lot of people did not want to see Phaedra come back. Literally, Phaedra got X'd out of this show. That is not a rumor. They decided not to move forward with Phaedra for years because of what she did when it came to the Portia and the Candy of it all. She literally was pushed off the show because of a lie, stirring up a lie that was detrimental. I know a lot of people will downplay this, but to Angela, her marriage is very important to her The last thing, I'm sure she had to convince Charles on some level, had to have a conversation with him. Let's do this reality show. I think I'm ready to do it. I think it'll be good for us, our businesses, things that we have going on. And now they bring this woman on at the end of the season. She's having a good season. And now this person is coming on to come for my marriage when you don't even have a marriage for me to come for. Like, I know people are going to be like, oh, this is reality television. They do this all the time. Remember when this one did that? Oh, how would you feel if someone did that to your marriage and set this whole situation up after this person has already been accused of doing something just as horrific before? And we're talking about what happened during the season. And at the end of the day, I'm not even just going to blame Phaedra. I'm going to blame the network. Production, they're gathering the things, but the network at the end of the day is solely responsible for this. You saw what happened with Phaedra before, and you saw they didn't have to do this. They didn't have to. They could filmed all this stuff and cut it all out and say, we're not going to do that. The same with the Kenya of it all. That happened 3 weeks into filming. They didn't have to keep any of that stuff in, but they're so desperate for ratings and making money that they don't care about protecting anyone's marriage, anyone's mental health. They don't care. They're trying to make a show to make ratings. However, the ratings have been lackluster the entire season.
Like, let's just talk about the things that we've been through. And when me and Charles took this show, we were like, we're going to talk about everything we've been through. All of it.
And if you see the preview for next week's episode, the season finale for season 16, there's a scene with her in therapy, and she's so vulnerable in regards to what's been playing out in her life and what she's going through, her relationship with Charles. And I love the fact that they've talked about going to therapy. They even talked about it on Watch What Happens Live this week.
Of it, because we didn't want to be ambushed with anything. So let's let the world know.
Especially on reality television.
Lie. It was just, it was devious.
So you survived your first reunion.
Yes.
Without giving too much away, how was the season 16 reunion for you? It's your first one.
It was good. I am still standing. I had to let everybody know who I was, and I feel like it's going to be good. I feel like all of the ladies did an amazing job in, proving their point or lack thereof. Attempts were made, but we survived, and it's going to be funny. Charles shows up because he shows up for me, so he's going to be at the reunion.
In sidebar, I saw Cynthia on her podcast said that they're hoping that this will be a 3-part reunion. And I was like, what are y'all talking about for 3 parts? She's saying based off of what she has heard so far, it's probably going to be a 3-part reunion. But she's also said, if you get a 1-part, it's not good. If you get a 2-part, you're like, eh. But she's feeling like they're going to get a 3-part reunion. And I'm like, Britt's not there. Kenya's not there. What are we fighting about and talking about? I guess we'll have to wait for the season finale.
And it's actually a fun time. Crazy enough that I can have a good time with Portia and Phaedra and all of us in the same room at the same time, and we are getting along. It worked out.
Okay.
It looks as if that her and Phaedra were able to get over this hump. And I like that about Angela, but I will always keep my third eye on Phaedra. The fact that you don't know me from a can of paint and you come onto the show and you're coming for my marriage, please understand, Angela does not trust Portia and she does not trust Phaedra. And she will be able to kiki and laugh with you, but she will never trust you. And you shouldn't, Angela. You should never trust Phaedra. If Phaedra could do that to Candy, who was considered a actual friend, they were actually, I don't know if they would consider each other best friends, but they were very close at one particular point. If she could do that to Candy, she could do that to anyone. There's no loyalty amongst Phaedra or Portia. Hide your husbands too. She did also list her ideal cast. Shout out to our friends over at Jay's reality blog. So this is what Angela Oakley says her dream cast would be for RHOA. She said that CAMEO would be a friend of the show, sidebar. Of course, Nene Leakes, Kenya Moore, Cynthia Bailey, Portia, Drew. She says Claudia Jordan, Phaedra, Sheree, and friend of would be Shamia. Damn, Shamia. But at least she included you, and a lot of people are saying, Shamia, yeah, you probably are better off as a friend of. Maybe. Or maybe we'll see a different side of Shamea if she's not hitched her wagon to the Porsche wagon. We shall see. Guys, let's continue this conversation in the comments section. As always, don't forget the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era. There's a flash sale happening right now just for this week only for the Philly show at City Winery. Then we're coming to the City Winery in Atlanta on August 5th. Then we'll be at Union Stage on August 22nd in DC. Then back here at the Green Room 42 here in New York City on September 12th. Ticket information will be available in the description. I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, for listening.
Here we go now.